you've released, well, last year you've released a cover album.
Yeah, in a way.
In a way, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, a few covers, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
a few covers and a few own songs.
Mm-hmm.
How important was this album? Because, well, the previous years you've released 3 albums, 2009, 10 and now. Yeah. You have a pretty big output now. How come?
I really feel like when I started to write the first song for this record, it was called If Not Now. And my feeling was, and I kept saying this to myself, if not now, when? That was my big thing. You know, when am I going to stop being scared? When am I going to start being courageous? How long am I going to keep doing what I've been doing and knowing it's not working? And it really, if not now, and you mentioned it, I am going to be 60. Well, when? So this was the springboard then for all of the songs that came after. And while the last album took almost 3 years to finish, this one I was done writing it and was almost sorry when I was done because I have so much more I want to say. Within 2 months, it just every day almost it was a different song, and it was just a very fertile time.
So that song is about you not giving in to your musical aspirations.
You mean which song?
If not now, when? There's a line, I did my best to hide away, and still it haunts me every day. It's about, well, maybe not being a songwriter, and now finally you've come to terms with it, and now you write, well, many songs within a few months.
It's actually a little bit more specific than that. My past was, it is all really sort of centering around that one song that I'm known for. And
what's the song?
Which is Killing Me Softly. And the way that happened, and my not speaking up, the fact that it was written and I never really spoke of the truth of that song. It made me feel, especially for the 2 writers who claimed credit, that I had never really spoken up. And while I had tried to hide away, and that my silence was, in a way, their friend, I could no longer hide away, that I was coming forward, and that I was going to be very honest in this album, which is really why I wrote Cup of Girl.
That's going to be my next question. But first focus on that song. Why didn't you speak out about your role in Killing Me Softly?
Because of, I think, some fear, because it was a very murky time. My parents were getting divorced. I was 19 and I got involved with a man who became my manager and producer, publisher, and then he claimed credit for a lot of songs. And one of them was the Sisters, I Have Too. I mean, he would write about my life and put his name on it. And this Killing Me Softly was out of my experience of seeing Don McLean. We talked about that last time. And he got, he took credit. And even now, I think what kind of got me going, especially for this album, I have to say I'm not real proud of it, but I think I was starting to feel pretty angry, and that's why I began to write. At the end of this whole album, I stopped being angry. But the 2 writers now, and they're quite a bit older, are now saying that actually that's not how the song was written at all. And I don't even know, Martin, if it even means anything to anyone but me. But the fact that they're now saying, no, the truth of it is that we wrote the song, that what Laurie's been saying is an urban myth, that we wrote the song actually, and we just showed it to Laurie as we did all the other songs, and she liked it and she related to it, she recorded it. But that's not the story, that's not what they had said 40 years ago when this was out. That's not what Don McLean has on his website, quoting them. And it made me feel like, was I lying? Did this not happen? It almost had a quality of almost of a little bit of almost of an abused wife or something. Was it as bad as I thought? Was it real? And I'd never met Don McLean all these years, and in fact, in regards to that song, no one had ever really said thank you to me. In fact, they just grabbed it. They just took it away. This is, you know, this is my name. This is my money. I'll do this. And Roberta Flack recorded it, and she waved to me, you know, at the Grammy Awards. And many years later, about 6 months ago, I was performing at a club in New York, and my cousins in Maine asked if they could bring their friend, and it was Patricia McLean. It was his wife, and she was lovely. And they invited me to Don's concert, and this was now 2 months ago. So for the first time, I'm sitting in the audience with my husband and with Patricia here, and Don McLean's on stage, and he says, "Lori Lieberman, right?" You know, and it was a big audience. It's like, you know, yeah. And he said, 40 years ago, she was sitting in the Troubadour in the audience, and she heard me sing Empty Chairs, and she wrote a poem on a napkin, and that poem became Killing Me Softly. And she was the first to record it, and I want to sing the song again to you. And he sang Empty Chairs to me, and oh my God, I can't tell you what this meant to me. It meant that it was real, that I wasn't a liar, that I was validated, and that it was the single act of kindness in 40 years that anyone involved in the song had ever really shown me.
Have you spoken to the two people who claim to be the writers?
No, we don't speak anymore. We don't. We do not.
Do you want to, well, maybe you start a case? I don't know.
I don't think I could. It's been too long. I lost, you know, I don't even know where that poem is, and it's okay. Actually, all of it is really okay. As long as, and moving,
speak out.
As long as I speak out, and frankly, when I wrote, and I know I'm moving faster than probably you want to, but when I wrote Cup of Girl, it was, you know, take the credit, take the money, but don't take away my memory of what happened. No, don't do that. So.
How much money was involved in the song?
I think it's uncountable. It's uncalculable. I think that it's billions of dollars, because so many people have recorded this song, and it keeps getting new blood. You know, after the Fugees, Roberta Flack, the Fugees, Colby Cayette, Perry Como, Frank Sinatra. I mean, it's a list of hundreds and hundreds. It's in the movies, and there's a, you know, it's just all over the place. And for me, it's a yeah, but story. And no matter how I tell this story, all these years that I wrote the poem got expanded, it was not my title. The title existed already because the lyricist Norman had it in a book. No matter how I tell it, people say, "Oh, she wrote that song." But I did not write the music. It came, we worked on it.
Let's say if you have to give a percentage, you wrote, well, 60 or 70% of the lyrics.
I know I wrote the story.